Hi, this is Carey Brown with Real Estate 101. Thanks for joining me today. I am with Cami Baker, and she's with the Real Agents of Change. Hi, Cami. How are you?
I am fabulous, fierce, and on fire, Carey. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So we are going to be talking about how you can give your real estate or donate your real estate, correct?
Yeah, and you are just like me and just like everyone else. It's a completely foreign concept. However, it's really, really, really simple. And it's been happening for over 100 years. And I'm going to share with your folks what charitable gifting of real estate is, why they've never heard of it, how they can benefit as a real estate agent or as a nonprofit, and how the donors get tax benefits that they can't get anywhere else. So
That sounds great. I mean, I've had people donate real estate to like Habitat for Humanity, and typically it's like a lot that they benefited more with the tax benefit than they did with the actual money they were going to make. So I'm not sure that that's the same thing, but it sounds similar.
Well, so 99% of properties that are donated are not a piece of real estate that the nonprofit's going to use. Like, a lot that Habitat for Humanity needs in a certain neighborhood, in a certain town, that's kind of like a needle in a haystack. So what we are helping people understand is any real estate of any kind, of any size, anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world for that matter, in some cases, can be donated to benefit any of the 1.3 million nonprofits in this country. So to keep it really simple, let's say there's what state are you in? Where are you at?
I'm in Kansas.
So you're in Kansas and there is who's your favorite nonprofit there?
I would say probably Habitat for Humanity.
So there's Habitat for Humanity in Kansas, and somebody wants to benefit them and they own a condo in Florida. Well, what's Habitat for Humanity in Kansas going to do with that? What if it's $1 million condo, but it's got a $300,000 mortgage? We all know that real estate can't exchange hands unless it's lien free. So now Habitat for Humanity would have to come up with $300,000 to pay off the mortgage, to take title, which would give that donor the tax benefits that they're looking for. And then Habitat for Humanity could sell it and have that $700,000 equity as the donation. But the problem is 99.9% of nonprofits don't have $300,000. They don't have a system. They don't have people on staff. They just don't know what the hell to do with this stuff. So what we are saying is, hey, real estate can benefit any nonprofit you love. We have a really simple way of whatever property the donor wants to donate, if it's got equity, and if it's going to benefit the nonprofit financially, we can take that piece of property, we can pay off the mortgage, we can give the donor cash if they want, as long as there's enough equity to make it work. Then our team, hires a real estate agent in that wherever the property is at a full commission to list and liquidate it so that we can give 90 to 98% of the proceeds to the nonprofits that the donor wants it to go to. It's really that simple.
That's awesome. So the donor gets the tax benefit and you're just like the median in between to make it happen.
Yep, that's really the way it is. So with 15 years of experience in real estate myself and doing all kinds of fundraisers, I did car shows, giving money to nonprofits for all those years. A couple years ago, I was at a conference with all this real estate background and nonprofit background, and I heard the speaker talking about charitable gifts of real estate. And I perked up. I'm like, how have I never heard of this? So what I learned was there's 1.3 million nonprofits, and 99.9% of them, if you say, here's $500 cash or the deed to a property worth $500,000, they take the cash, they say no to the real estate for a lot of good reasons. And we are not suggesting that they start trying to figure this out now. But this is why we've never heard of it. If nonprofits won't take real estate, there's been no reason to teach it to realtors, et cetera. But what I also learned is that $9 billion a year is donated to nonprofits through gifts of real estate, which really is a small amount compared to our 43% of wealth that's held in real estate. So what we're saying is Let's expand that 9 billion. Let's add a billion or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 by letting people know, yes, your nonprofit can benefit. The donors not only get a tax advantage, but 80% of them do it because it's the right thing to do. They've acquired properties over their lifetime. Their mother died of breast cancer. Their father was a veteran. They got a house full of animals. You know, now they're wanting to do something with their estate, and they will donate real estate when they know that it's an option.
That is really interesting. So how did they get a hold of you?
Well, the Real Agents of Change, we've become known as the Rock, which is just the letters of the Real Agents of Change. And we are an organically growing group of realtors, financial advisors, fundraisers, nonprofits, people who realize real estate is hot, fundraising is not, and how can our nonprofit friends get funded through gifts of real estate. So I can't say the only way to learn about this is through us, but we are the only organization in the country or the world who is not only providing information, education, and certification around charitable real estate, but we also teach people how to leverage this. In other words, how can you leverage real estate for real change by building your business as a realtor, by building your business as a financial advisor, by 6 timesing what you're bringing in as a nonprofit. There are studies that prove nonprofits who accept non-cash assets, in our case, real estate, can bring in 6 times in 1 year what they were bringing in just from cash. So we're teaching people how to do that.
That is a really good idea. Like the mission here, I would love to see them be able to do that. And I believe that they've done that to some degree, but probably not on this scale.
Well,
So
there's a handful of nonprofits out there that do accept real estate. Like, for example, I've learned that Salvation Army takes about 2,000 donations of real estate a year. And some might say, well, Cami, why would you share somebody else who does it too? Isn't that competing? No. If you want to donate to the Salvation Army, reach out to them and donate to them. Here's the difference. You'll get a tax deduction. And if you want Salvation Army to have that money, then by all means, reach out to them. But they are not going to do the transaction and give your nonprofit the proceeds. What we do is we have a specialized nonprofit whose sole purpose for existing is to take these donations of real estate, take title, take financial responsibility, pay off mortgages, put it on the roof, hire the realtor, do all the tedious stuff. And their mission is to take the proceeds from that donation and give it to any and all of the nonprofits that the donor wants to have the money. So, you know, if you Google how to donate real estate, donating real estate, charitable gifting of real estate, you'll find several nonprofits who do accept real estate. Cars for Kids accepts real estate. But when you get your tax benefit, you can't say, oh, by the way, I want the proceeds to go to my church. No, Cars for Kids is keeping that money, and they're a wonderful organization who deserve every penny. However, if you're someone who wants to benefit the nonprofits that you love, that's not going to work.
that makes perfect sense. So if you're a real estate agent, what would you want to know? What would you want them to know about this?
So we have a couple of really simple ways for people to learn more. It's a simple concept, but we know it's foreign, right? So Wednesdays at noon Eastern, we do a charitable real estate 101 brief overview that they can attend and just kind of get the basics. We have a master class that we do on the 3rd Tuesday of the month that currently is also free. It happens to be tomorrow at the time of this recording, but if you go to the rock.com/masterclass, you can find the next one that's coming up whenever you see this recording. So what I want the real estate agents to know is, when I saw this 2.5 years ago, I thought of you. I, as a real estate agent, as someone who's made tens of thousands of prospecting calls, door knocking, cold calling, expireds, for sale by owners, going to networking events with 10 other realtors in the room, whether
Yeah.
it's on a room or on a Zoom. You're never the only realtor in the room. So I knew when I saw this, oh my God, unique sales proposition, be the only one in your marketplace that knows how this works, stand out. What a great way to reach out to your past clients without some icky, hey, you guys bought a house a year ago. Who do you know is looking to move into the market? You don't have to have that. You can call them and say, hey, Bill, Mary. Bill, you're a veteran. Mary loves the animals. I just learned how to fund nonprofits by the millions from gifts of real estate. Just want to let you guys know because I knew that you would want to be in the know about this. It's just a great conversation starter, icebreaker, get your foot in the door of the country club or the gated community that you've been wanting to do business in. There's so many ways to leverage this.
That's awesome. So the classes that you're talking about, when are they again?
Wednesdays at noon Eastern time. And then the third Tuesday of the month is the 3-hour deep dive. The master class once a month is how they can get certified. So we have certified charitable real estate specialists, and it starts with taking that class. And we also have just a whole ton of ways to market. We've got, you know, the system, the support, the strategy. You know, we do a lot of live calls during the week. You know, who are you wanting to talk to this week? What are you going to say to that nonprofit? How are you going to talk to that property donor? What if you want to talk to other realtors around the country? We have a lot of realtors that are building a team. You know, they're in a team building mode as a real estate agent, and they want to talk to dozens or hundreds of other realtors. And this is a great way to start that conversation too, because what we really love about this is there's no selling or convincing or objection handling. There's sharing the message, letting people know that this is an option, and inviting them to come learn more. That's all there is.
That's awesome. So what is the website?
The Rock, RAOC.com, therock.com. We have a Facebook group that is The Real Agents of Change, and tons of videos on YouTube to learn how this works as well.
That's awesome. So I really want to make sure that I understand this fully. Who are the people that you typically see donating, and can you give me some examples?
Love to. We have a saying at the Real Agents of Change, everyone has a Linda. So here's the story. National Jewish Health is a big nonprofit. They bring in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. They have a donor list of 300,000 people. And Linda is on their donor list, and she was giving $25 a year for 32 years. And when she found out a couple of years ago that that organization could benefit from gifts of real estate, lo and behold, she had a cabin in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, and it was not used anymore. It was a family property. It had fallen into disrepair. It was a 6-hour drive from her home. When she did go visit it, she had to get a hotel room because it was in that bad a disrepair. She would have had to put money into it, etc. So she found out, she donated the property, and when the property sold, it was a small donation. It was only $39,000 that went to that nonprofit. Average donation is $550,000, but $39,000 is nothing to sneeze at either. And we share this story because so often people think, well, I don't know anybody that would donate real estate, and I don't know wealthy people, and I'm not a Bill Gates, and you know, all this stuff. But we all know a Linda. We all know somebody that has a home that was left to them by the family, that has a strip mall that they've owned for 30 years that would kill them in capital gains tax that they avoid when they donate. We all know someone that would donate real estate. We just don't know because we've never asked them. We've never talked about it. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like short sales. 15 years ago, nobody knew what a short sale was either, but now everyone does. And I just heard a story today that bears telling. Here in Sarasota, where I'm at right now in Florida, this is the third story that I've heard from a real estate agent here about someone who gave real estate away, not to a nonprofit, not as a charitable donation, but just gave it to a neighbor because they'd acquired property and they didn't know who else to give it to. So this guy was going in the hospital. He didn't know what the outcome would be. He was afraid he may not make it out alive. He had 3 pieces of property and he signed them over to his 22-year-old neighbor. He said, I don't have any heirs. I don't have any friends or family, and I don't want the state to take it if I die. So here you go. And the point is that there are people in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our states, just like this guy, and would donate if we knew, if they knew how to do it. And that's our job, is to just let people know.
That's awesome. And I mean, those are the same kind of cases that I saw as far as the land was concerned. They were in areas that, they could have easily, they weren't big enough to actually put a house on, or they weren't in a desirable enough neighborhood to build a new construction. So they were just lots. And they were like, hey, I could at least get the tax benefit from it. And I said, hey, Habitat for Humanity, if nothing else, they could put a garden there, or sell it. Yeah. So that is really a cool idea.
Well, there's another story that I like to share because it shows that the amount of these, there's so many stories. One of them is a house in Silicon Valley in California, a little 1,200 square foot ranch that had an appraised value of 1.8 million because it's in Silicon Valley. So the guy wanted to donate it, and he did. It was a quick, easy sale. There was no mortgage. It was all equity. He wanted the tax deduction. He used our team to sell it. And then all the money that he got from it, he put in something called a donor advised fund. In other words, a fund that a donor puts the money into, and then they can advise it out how they see fit. So he sells his property, he gets his tax deduction of 1.8 million. He puts the money in a donor advised fund, and he can decide for the rest of his life or leave it to his heirs. If he wants to give $5,000 to a kid to go to college, if he wants to give $10,000 to his church every year for the next 20 years, whatever he wants to do with that money. So, we've got stories about land. That up in Minnesota, there were 3 commercial lots on a lake, beautiful lake, commercial. Why was it commercial? I don't know, but it only had a value of 300,000 as commercial land. But our specialized nonprofit, our team has been doing this for many, many years. And they said, well, wait a minute, this is in a residential area. It's a beautiful lake. Why don't we see about getting it rezoned? So they took 6 months. They took $90,000 cash out of their own pocket to rezone it. And by the time it was all said and done, that 300,000 commercial turned into 700,000 residential. And so the specialized nonprofit recouped their 90,000 they took out of pocket. They recouped any, insurance and tax and expenses. And then the remaining proceeds went to the nonprofits that the donor wanted them to go to originally. And now they got twice as much because there was an expert who understood how it worked. So we actually have a whole list of success stories on our website as well.
That is amazing. Okay, so what is the best way to, number one, learn, and how to get a hold of you?
Well, I love that you said, number one, learn. So just as a little, we do everything with alliterations at The Rock. It makes it easy. So we got 5 keys to unlock charitable gifts of real estate. Key number 1 is to learn, as you just mentioned. Key number 2 is to lead generate, because it doesn't matter how much you know. If you're not lead generating, then you can't do key number 3, which is list and liquidate. Key number 4 is leverage, how to leverage all this real estate for real change. And key number 5 is leave a legacy, because this leaves legacy for the nonprofit, the donor, and the realtor involved. So the way that people can learn is therock.com/101. You can sit in on the Wednesday half hour live, or you can watch the recording there, or you can go to therock.com/masterclass and come to the live event free the 3rd Tuesday of the month, or watch the recording. We've got our Facebook group, The Real Agents of Change, and my personal cell phone number is 603-785-2598. Feel free to reach out, but don't reach out to pick my brain. You need to watch the videos first so that we can have an intelligent conversation.
That's awesome. And if you're looking to buy or sell, be sure and give us a call at 785-213-5188. We would be happy to help you do the same thing. And obviously, Cami would be a great support system to get that done. So she's amazing. And I really thank you for coming on.
Well, it's my honor. The only way we can give $1 billion a year to the nonprofit world is by having people like you help us spread the word. So thank you for being a real agent of change yourself.
All right. Well, have a great day. And again, thank you so much. And thanks for listening to Real Estate 101.